Good evening. This is Mike in Georgia. If I unmute my microphone, you'll probably hear it better. This is Mike in Georgia. Please tell us who you
Oh,
are and
good
where
to
you're
see.
calling from, squeaky chair.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
I'm not sure how long I'll last that. I am very tired.
You are, huh? Well, we're glad to have you in here for whatever time you can be in here.
Okay.
I'm hearing a hum in the background. I don't know if that was you or me. I didn't hear it prior to you coming on, so
I don't hear it.
it sounds kind of like you know how you put your finger on a microphone jack or something and it buzzes. Now the buzzing went away. Did you go away too? Now it came back. And I bet
It
you
must
came
be
back too.
my jack.
I don't know what it is. Sound like a ground wire's, come undone off a microphone cord or something.
I don't know. This is an old headset. I've had it for close to 2 years now, so it's been used a lot. So that might be time for a new.
Might be. Every now and then it clears up and goes away, but I don't know what the deal is. But we can live with it as long as you're here. We're so proud. We're so proud to have you here. So
Yeah, I feel very old today.
very old.
I worked out pretty hard on Tuesday, and I think it really hit me today that I had worked out pretty hard. So my body aches, and I'm tired and lethargic.
Well, you're still a
I
youngster,
tried
you
to.
know.
Well, I'm not that youngster, but compared to you, I am a youngster. So
Yeah.
I don't mean any disrespect by that, but chronologically, I am younger than you.
Yep, that's true.
We have a lady at my church is in her 80s, and um, somebody she mentioned they were having a Mother's Day banquet next month, and they asked her. She gave the pricing for it. And they asked if she could get a discount since she's so old, and she says, "Mary, it's not that you're old; you're chronologically challenged." I think it's a politically correct way of saying.
Yeah, I reckon so. Does that make me chronologically? I can't say that word. Challenged.
Yeah. Anybody older than me is chronologically challenged.
Okay. Well, you're still a pretty young fella, so
I heard today.
I understand about the hurting. It's been raining here the last few days, and that kind of weather makes me hurt. I've been hurting for 2 or 3 days now. But this too shall pass, and we shall live through it.
Yep. I forgot to send out my reminder for the call tonight to my team.
Oh well.
It's like
You
cook supper for me and my wife. I made sloppy joes,
that sounds good.
but then I made a manwich, and then I made baked potatoes in the oven. And I poured the manwich on top of the baked potatoes.
That sounds real
Sour
good.
cream.
Real
It
good.
turned out really good.
Yeah. you know what I always say, the ones that need to be here tonight will be here. The important ones will be here. So if it turns out me and you, then me and you was important.
I agree.
We got a few minutes yet. I think I posted it on the chat room, but I don't know if you've seen it or not, but gone to in your Four Corners back office under the Getting Started tab. If you go to step number 3, there's a whole page full of good stuff, videos and stuff like that. I found one in particular I like personally, but they're all good, and it's got a good page. It's a good thing to send people to. And there's about I don't know, 5 or 6 of them. If you haven't yet, if you get a chance, take a look at them. Let's see here. Getting started.
Yeah, I was surprised. Didn't get my Stiford commission this month. And I found out why.
Why was that?
I fell below $10.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. That was
Bless you.
yeah. Dave says bless you.
Thank you.
Let's see. Under step 3 under marketing settings. That's where it is. Yeah, I'm surprised to hear that, because the matrix actually grew a little bit this last month. So it's been going down for 2 or 3 months, but this last month it grew just a little bit.
Not on my side. It went down quite a bit.
Actually, some of the ones was under your site. You must have lost some more under your site somehow or another. I don't know. I hadn't really diagnosed it a whole lot. I just noticed that leg had grown a little bit.
Yeah. Said it was down to $8.75. I had over $11 the month before.
Yeah. Let's see what. I don't know where I don't know where it fell off at. I don't see it here, so. Actually, with adding Tony in down under you, and adding Robert Frank was down under you, so it's pretty good. Someone else just joined us here. Let's see who it is. This is Mike in Georgia. Reverend Dave is in here with us. Please tell us who you are and where you're calling from.
Reverend Dave.
Yes, sir.
Well,
I was just mentioning you.
you were.
Yeah, we was just talking about a few new people. I guess really as far as Stiford was concerned, though, you're not really new. You've been around with us for a while, but we was talking about new people down under Dave this month.
Well, that's good.
And I mentioned you, but I hadn't thought about you. You wasn't one of the new ones, though. You was just one of the ones that I had figured out was down under Dave here the other day.
Well, at least with the Four Corners, all that help you gave me,
Yeah.
I'm on about 6 or 7 sites now.
Well, that's fantastic. That's great.
So hopefully I should get some kind of reaction out of it.
Hopefully you should start seeing something. I I just ran across something. I was talking to Dave about it just a minute ago. If you go to your Four Corners back office and
Uh-huh.
under the Getting Started tab, under the Home tab, and then there's Dashboard, Getting Started, an account. In the middle there is Getting Started. If you click on that and go over to step 3, there's 3 more tabs under that, and in the middle one says Marketing Settings. If you click on that, there's there's about, looks like five different pages you can choose from that have a pretty good video attached with them for promoting Four Corners. So if you got somebody you're talking to, I think these would work better if it's somebody you was talking to personally, and they'd already taken a look at what you're doing, everything. You want to just give them some more encouragement, more information. You could send them to one of those. They have a link underneath each one of them. The URL.
Yeah, I got an email that had one of those listed, and I watched it. It was very interesting.
Yeah, but they are good. I looked at all of them. The one I like best is the one down on the bottom left. But I think they all pretty much using close to the same video, but they just arrange them just a little bit differently. But I kind of liked them. They were pretty interesting there. So if you had somebody you was already working with or something, and you just needed something to kind of nudge them over the line a little bit, that'd be a real good link there to send to them.
Yeah, I'll have to get those and mark them down where they're handy.
Because as you're going through, as you go, following through, there's 3 steps on each one of them. You go to the first little introductory video, and then you click, and it shows you a little bit more in-depth video, and then you click on a link, and it takes you over to a page which gives you a pretty good explanation altogether what Four Corners is all about, and it's got a big green button on there that where you can join Four Corners here now, or join now or something. So it's pretty good to it'd be pretty good to use in a situation like that, I think.
Did we lose somebody?
Well, from the fact the hum went away too. I think that was Reverend Dave. Just he fell out. He'll be back if he gets a chance. He was pretty tired. He's been getting up at about 5 o'clock every morning, going to a.
Oh wow!
Well, he's been participating in a prayer group every morning, and he told me early when he first come on that he was pretty tired tonight. He didn't know if he'd last very long through the call or not, so he may have dropped out because of that, or he may just have dropped out and he may come back. So either way.
Yeah, you never know for sure.
No. He's.
The reason I said that, it sounded like I could hear his squeaky chair.
You could hear his squeaky chair. It's still squeaking.
It's still squeaking.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I told him I could tell he was home, and I was mighty glad to hear that squeaky chair, because that meant he was back. So.
He was back. Yep. Well, other than that, things seem to be going reasonably well.
Well,
I mean, I got a lot done today.
Well, that's great. I'm glad you did. We got a lot of rain today.
Well, it's that after a couple days of snowing, the sun finally came out.
Ooh, you're not talking nice now. We don't want any of that. Hey, we're gonna have to leave that out there where you're at.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because, one morning it was or one day it was 60, and the next day we had to go to Elko, and we had to leave in the early in the morning, about 6, and we had to drive to Elko in a snowstorm.
Oh my! Someone
That was kind of weird.
someone else just joined us. Let's see who it is. You've got Robert Frank and Mike Lyles here in there right now. Please tell us who you are and where you're calling from.
Hi, Mike and Robert. It's Sandy from North Carolina.
Good evening, Sandy. We're glad to hear you in here
Yep.
too.
Glad
Good
to be
evening.
talking to you. Hmm?
I said, good evening.
Good evening. It's not a good evening. It's been raining all day. It's so gloomy.
Yeah,
But that's okay. It's nice to talk to cheery people.
always. You're right. It's been raining here pretty much all day too. It's been a little cool today. It's been down in the 50s today. We've been having temperatures up in the 80s, leaving all that snowy weather out there where Robert is. But we've been in the 80s. But today, I think the high was somewhere in the 50s. So
Yeah, we had cool weather today, too. Doug said it's not going to go beyond 60 tomorrow either. Yuck.
good evening. This is Mike in Georgia. Please tell us who you are and where you're calling from.
Hey, Mike, this is Tony from Maryland.
Well, good evening, Tony. We're glad to have you in here.
How you doing?
I'm doing absolutely great. How are you doing up there in the big state of Maryland?
We're doing great. I invited somebody on the call today. I don't know if he's going to, come on.
Well, we'll be glad to have them if they do.
His name is Nick out of Colorado.
Nick out of Colorado. Another one of them.
Yeah, he's a mechanic.
Another one of them western states, huh? Well,
Yep.
we got a westerner in here with us right now, so Robert's in here tonight.
Hey, Robert, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm from the big old gambling state of Nevada. Oh, speaking of gambling, you know what I saw on the computer today?
What was that?
I like to fell over. Well, now I guess you can bet the horses and the dogs on the internet.
Well, I guess that's a natural evolution of the industry there. So, but
Well, yeah, I was really surprised, and so I checked it out and actually had a phone number on her. And so I give them a quick call, and it's, oh yeah, that's legit. You gotta put up, I don't know, $50 or $100.
right.
And but then you can select the races or the dogs wherever they're running and bet on them. I said, I'll be darned. Learn something new every day.
Every day. Figure a way for you to donate your money somehow or another, won't they?
Yeah, well, that's the American way.
Seems to be.
I mean, basically, we're all here to make a profit of some kind.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess that was no pun intended, right, for Skyfort?
No, it wasn't. Skyfort is an excellent company.
Yep. It seems to have been so.
I think possibility of, the sign of the times. I think a lot of people, for lack of a better way to say it, are having hard times because our government keeps telling us there's no inflation, but when a gallon of milk goes from $1.97 to $2.27, and now it's pushing $5.
Yep.
You know that inflation's going up and it's becoming harder and harder for people to survive. And, the problem is we have what they need, but, they're getting pressure from all different sides. And just like I was talking to somebody, about 15 minutes ago, just a mere measly $100. Well, man, $100 is a lot of money when you have inflation and you're
Hmm.
trying to grab the dog's tail. It's a little more difficult to say, hey, if you spend a little money over here, you might be able to make some.
Right.
And they listen, but I think it's part of the times. They want to, but they're a little bit scared to, so to speak. And so you really got to talk to them and try to reassure them, that there is an opportunity here. And of course, everybody I talk to, I tell them right up front. Now, I want you to understand that this does involve some work. It's not just going to happen. You don't just plug it in and it's going to play till it falls off the table. You really gotta work it. You gotta do something with it. And if you do, then the rewards will be there. That's all. Simple, but I don't know, maybe harsh to some people. What do you think?
I don't think it's harsh. I think it's very realistic.
Yeah, so do I. And it's just one of those things that, you got to basically get over. And I find, at least in talking to people, as long as you have a reassuring voice, as long as you, like the lady asked me, says, well, and this is a different company, by the way, but she says, are you making money? I says, well, I've been with a company for 2 months, and I'm up to $8 a month. Now, I'm not going to set the world on fire with $8 a month. But what I can tell you is that 8 will probably go to 16, and then it'll go to 32, and might be even a year down the road, but somewhere I'm going to end up, I'll have a couple hundred or maybe even 1,000 a month coming in, and it'll come in every month. But you got to be patient.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Hey, Robert.
Yes.
Next time somebody asks you that question, do a tennis ball approach. When they ask you a question, you ask them a question. I call it a tennis ball close or a tennis ball approach, right?
Right.
So basically, if somebody asks you that question, you ask them. I would love to answer that question, but let me ask you this: have you ever seen a house being built from scratch?
Absolutely not. You have to get the plans for it first.
Yeah, but it takes time for that house to become a house. They start from nothing, and then they start building. But it takes patience, like you said, for the house to actually materialize. Then she would understand. That because I know the reason why she asked you, if you've made any money yet, because her mindset is it's a get rich quick type situation, which is,
Right, and I think part of that is our own problem on the internet. If you surf a lot on the internet at all, I'm absolutely amazed of how many things will pop up, and they'll basically say, join us today. It's only $20, and by next Tuesday you'll have 500. You know what I'm saying? Well, to me, if you believe that, I think you got a screw loose. But,
well, Robert, it's like saying, hey guys, hey carpenters, electricians, plumbers, we're gonna build this house by 6 o'clock tomorrow from nothing.
Yeah, right.
Who's gonna buy that house and who's gonna move in? Nobody.
Nobody. Liable to fall in on you.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, there is that mindset when you're talking to a lot of people that they just seem to think that, well, you say you got a good deal here. Well, we do. I think we got the greatest deal that's on the internet. But I got to come up front and come forward and let you know you're going to have to work it. You're going to have to spend some time with it. and it will happen. But in the beginning, always in the beginning, you might go a few months with nothing happening. But I can tell you this, like my $8, I can tell you this, once it starts happening, it can happen really fast.
Yep.
It's that first 3, 4, 6 months. I know some people have gone for a year before they got past that. It's kind of like the snowball going down a hill, in that if you have a snowball and you're at the top of the hill and you run down 5 feet to catch it, that snowball is not going to be very big. You have to let that snowball go all the way down the hill. Because if you run out there and keep stopping it, all you're going to do is break up the snowball and you're going to have to start all over again. But if you'll just be patient and let it go all the way down the hill, when it gets to the bottom of the hill, we're talking big money.
The thing that is most exciting to me is you can start with that snowball size of a golf ball, top of the hill, and you give it a little shove and it just barely rolls. And you might have to give it 2 or 3 little shoves before it actually gets enough size and momentum to do anything at all. But then once it gets that size and momentum, then it'll keep itself moving down that hill. And the further down the hill it goes, the faster it gets and the bigger it gets. And pretty soon you get down a certain level down that hill, and that snowball done turned into an avalanche, and you can't stop it. You can't stop it.
You can't stop it.
And
that's absolutely correct.
It just gets bigger and bigger and faster, but up at the top where it started, like I said, you may have to give it a few pushes before it actually gets to going a little bit, and help it a little bit. But like I said, once you get it going, if you just keep at it, it will grow to the point that you can't stop it. And it gets faster and bigger all the way down.
It reminds me of a friend of mine, and this has been about 20 years ago, and I remember thinking that we all at some time or another think somebody's done lost a screw in their head. He said he was going to spend $10,000 for this little cleaning place. Where you go in and do your laundry and a washer and dryer and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I thought, man, it ain't going to work. But guess what? He taught me something that I learned from him, in a sense, in the hard way. He went in there, he bought it for $10,000. Him, his wife, and his 2 children literally lived at this washer and dryer for 3 years. And they did without. And every single penny that they got, they put back into the business. And their goal was to pay that loan off. Well, guess what? In about 3 years, that loan was paid off. Now, I got to tell you that this place, and this is many years ago, this place was bringing in anywhere from, I'd say, $1,000 to around $2,500 a week. But they were putting it all back to pay that loan. And they really did suffer for 3 whole years. But guess what? At the end of that 3 years, they were making $2,500 a week, and it was theirs.
Yep.
Didn't belong to nobody. And all of a sudden, everybody wondered how they could afford to buy a new house and they could afford to buy a new car because they realized that they had to suffer for that short period of time, and in each case, we don't know. It might be 6 months. It could be 6 years. Who knows how long it's going to take? But they were willing to make that sacrifice to suffer because they knew in their heart and their mind at the end of the tunnel, they would become wealthy. And now I think he owns, 8 or 9 of them. And he doesn't have to worry about a thing. you know,
That's the way it
he
works.
he's set for life. Yep, that is the way it works. And
That's the
you
philosophy
know,
that's made this country great. You know, those people
yes, it is.
that knew and understood and delayed gratification. They understood plowing their seed wheat back into the field and not taking it out and making bread with it. You know, and
That's correct.
as a result, they had even more seed wheat, and they plowed it back, and they even more. And pretty soon they had more seed wheat than what they could plant. They had to eat some of
Yep.
it.
And in my mind, that's the same thing with my $8 a week.
Yep.
You would be surprised how many people laugh and think that's the silliest thing they ever heard. And they say, "How can you be so proud of $8 a week, or excuse me, a month?" I says, "Well, if you know anything about the internet, I've known people who've been on the internet for years and never made $1. I knew a guy that spent 6 months on the internet trying to run a business, and he finally got somebody that signed up, and he made $20, and he went out and threw a party
Yeah.
because he couldn't believe it."
Well, I'm gonna give you a real good example, and the example refers to us, our business, the way we're running our business is one of the income streams that we actually it's three or four income streams combined, but one of the main income streams that we have that we use because it provides tools for us, but is the Stiforp business. And you mentioned Stiforp a while ago, uh, and Stiforp costs you $9.95 a month. Uh,
Yep.
if you sponsor one person, you earn a $25 bonus. Uh, if you sponsored one person every 2 months, if it took you 2 months to sponsor one person, you will have made about $5 profit. You will be profitable at that point. And then 2 months later, if you sponsor one more person, you'll make another $5 profit. And now you're really profitable. You've created a third month's worth of profit there. And as it goes on, of course, as the more people you bring in, the goal is to work with them and teach them to bring in. And when they bring in that one person, you're going to make another $2 profit. And it doesn't that doesn't sound like an awful lot. That doesn't sound like an awful lot, but the point is, it's profit. It's money over and above what you've taken out of your pocket and plowed into your business in order to in order to have that little bit of profit. And just what you were talking about is, plowing your seaweed back in, growing some more. If you take that profit and you turn it back into your business, in the form of an advertising or whatever, then it works. Uh, Jim Rome, who of course he's passed away now, but Jim Rome was one of the great motivational speakers. He was one of my favorite, and he always talked about not eating your seed wheat, not eating your seed wheat, but taking and putting it back in. Uh, if you that's just like that snowball running down the hill. If you do that, then pretty soon it grows, and the more you plow it back, the more it grows, and the bigger it grows. Pretty soon it starts to grow faster than you can use it, and it starts to get. Pretty soon you got to figure out how to spend your money. But the thing about it is, to start with, you've got to just keep giving that snowball a little push, give it a little push, and knowing and understanding and having a little faith that snowball is going to grow, and that seed wheat, that wheat field is going to grow, and So it's, I don't know.
Well, Mike and Robert. Who else was there? Dave's there too.
He was in here. I think he's had to drop out. Sandy's in here too.
Hey, Sandy, how you doing?
Hey, Tony. Glad to hear you.
You're very quiet today.
I'm listening. I'm learning.
Yeah, but okay. Well, the saying. Well, let me go back to Robert for 1 second. Robert, that lady that asked you how much you're making so far.
Well, yeah, but just so that you understand, she didn't ask me how much I was making. We were just talking in the conversation. I can't get exactly, but she mentioned something, and so I come back with her by saying, "Well, yes, that's true, but anything you do is an investment. I mean, you got to realize that right up front. Number two is that I am in profit, but my profit is small, and so I started talking to her, about my $8.
Yeah.
And
so what question did she ask you to prompt you telling her that you make $8 a month?
God, I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head, because we were talking about a whole different business, and this other business involves, for lack of a better way to say it, you're going to have anywhere from $100 to $500 if you want to get into this, and a lot of people really shy away from that. And so in discussing that with her, I've mentioned the other business. Here's one thing I do personally myself. I just got on a thing now on the internet where you can show two businesses at the same time. It's called split screen, and I think it's really cool. I believe in having at least more than one business. I have what I call the high end, and I have the low end. Because when I'm talking to somebody, I'm going to be asking questions, like, well, how long have you been in business? Or have you been in business? Or have you ever done anything on the internet? Second question, how much money do you have? What can you afford to invest? You do realize you're going to have to invest something. If it's not money, it's time. But you're going to have to invest something. So I try to find out roughly where they're at. And some people say, well, $100 a month, I might be able to go that. Some people, well, hey, what do I need? 10 grand? Well, that's nice. If you got it, we can use it, sure, but you don't need that much. So I try to find out where they're at. So with a high and low, if somebody says, well, I can only afford, say, $100, then I know which business to move them towards. But if another guy, like this one person that I signed up, actually, who said, well, I'm on Social Security, I really can't afford a lot, so I said, well, let me ask you a question. Can you afford $10 a month? Oh, yeah, $10 a month, I can do that. And so I went right into that particular program. That way I always have the option of going yay or nay. I learned this when I sold insurance years ago, that if you give a person two choices, they are, I'd say, 65% greater chance that they'll buy one or the other. But if you give them one product, and that's it, it's too easy to say no.
Absolutely right.
Let me ask Sandy to give us an example there. Sandy's in real estate. And Sandy, if you got someone coming in and saying they're interested in buying a house, do you just pick out one house and show them and tell them that's the only choice they got? They got to either look at that and buy that, or go somewhere else, or do you give them an opportunity to maybe look at 2 or 3 houses?
Well, what we do, this is typical real estate, the normal market. We always choose 10,000 over and 10,000 above what they say they want to spend. And then we pick out not what they say they want to see, but what we think might work for them.
Well,
But
absolutely. Yeah.
we pick out some things they want to see, of course. That they'll call with an address, and of course you got to show them the one they want to see. But we pick others that might appeal to them. So yeah, we definitely give them a choice. And another thing I learned early on in real estate was you always give people a choice. If they call and they're, they really don't want to talk to you, but they're just kind of eliminating the possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
We give them a choice about like when to meet, where to meet. So they've got options, and they can't just say no. They've got to say, well, maybe this would be better.
You never.
So yeah.
Never give them opportunity
definitely
to say no.
good. Yeah.
Always give them opportunity. Which would you like best, this one or this one? And
exactly.
There's no answer to that. It's they have to make a selection. Another thing, and I guess what I'm getting at is if somebody come in and told you that they were going to spend $50,000 on I guess that'd be a little shack in the cardboard shack, wouldn't it? But anyway, if they said they were going to spend $50,000 on a house, would you maybe want to start them out showing them a $70,000 house, and then when they start hedging and you knew they were going to start with, then you say, well, I've got this other house too that just might be what you're looking for, and go show them a $50,000 house, and which they're more likely to be inclined to say, that's what I'm looking for, and that's what I want. Let's go sign the paper now. Of course, it don't work quite that quick. I understand, but the philosophy is there.
They always try to target what they think they want. They always try to target that, but then put little options around it.
Right.
So yeah, that's exactly what we do in network marketing. We kind of entice them with $1.75 with a $5 or the $8 program.
Right.
But that hopefully will lead to them thinking, well, gee, if I can do this, I can do something bigger.
One thing we're getting into with the winning system, and one of the I don't know how to say it, but one of the goals and ideas behind the winning system is, we want people to start off with, we want them to find 4 people. Okay. But what we're doing is we're giving them the option of finding 4 people and building 2 different businesses, maybe even 3 different businesses with those same 4 people. If you find 4 people and you can move them into different, and you can start off and using the same philosophy with, how much does it cost? How much is it going to cost them? Because everything's going to cost. It's going to cost something. And you can show them how they can get into Stifthorpe and they can make this X amount of profit just sponsoring one person every 2 months. They're gonna be making what are they gonna be making, 20% profit on their investment of what it's going to cost them to be in business for those 2 months. Well, if they can take and do the same thing with your 4 corners and stuff like that, they're making what's it, I don't know, roughly 40%. So now you got 60% profit, and I can show you, because I have in my lifetime I have been involved in managing and running brick and mortar businesses, and I can show you where the corporate got real excited because we made $3 profit in a year. I mean, they got excited about $3 profit in one store that I was running because it was profit, and they were used to not even seeing a real profit. There was money flowing in, but time you got down to it and showed the bottom line and everything, it showed $3 profit. They got excited about $3 profit. Of course, I showed them some other ways they could make more money, but then they took my ideas and hired a GE washing machine salesman who, we weren't selling washing machines, by the way. I was in electronic parts
I think
supply.
the most, what I. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying.
What I do is I promote network marketing, and I got this from my Amway days.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike and Dave, you can probably relate to this. I don't know if Sandy and Robert have been in Amway before.
I have.
But to me, that's the best. They will always be number one in network marketing, regardless of whatever negative,
They still are
And here's
today.
the reason why.
And how often do you hear anyone talking about Amway today? But they still are the biggest and largest network marketing business, period.
in history.
Yeah.
And
My brother was in Amway, Tony. My brother was in Amway. Oh gosh, a million years ago, when it was really big. Probably when you guys were involved. And he worked on me and talked to me and tried to make me do Amway. Gave me books, everything, and I just wouldn't. No. It wasn't for me. But I wish I'd listened. He did very well.
And the main reason why they're number one is because of the education that they give. And going forward with the winning team system, this is my suggestion. I think we should like incorporate educating people on what network marketing is. Here's where I got excited. This is what got me in network marketing in the first place. The guy says, I was looking for a job, and the guy says, I met a guy like in the metro who was handing out flyers, and he gave me his flyer. I called him later on, and he says, Tony. I go, what? He goes, do you have a penny on you? I go, yeah. Okay. He goes, do you have a calculator on you too? I go, yeah. He goes, Tony, what is a penny in decimal form on a calculator? I go, that is 0.01. He goes, wow, Tony, you're pretty cool with numbers. He goes, Tony, what is a penny that doubles every day? How much is a penny that doubles every day for 30 days? I go, I don't know. He goes, okay, let's punch it in. He goes, a penny that doubles. I got hooked. I got signed up after 2 weeks, 15 days. He convinced me after I pressed a penny, doubling every day for 15 days. I got the message, because when you double a penny consistent, the key word here is consistent. You see, what we do sometimes is not consistent. That's where the problem is. If you do something consistently for a while, it won't take long. You're gonna see things happen. But what got me excited about network marketing was he gave me another scenario. He goes, Tony, draw a circle. I go, okay. He goes, put your name in it. I put Tony, or me, M-E. He goes, Tony, how many hours do you have in that circle in a day? I go, 24 hours. He goes, write that down. He goes, Tony, do you work? I go, yeah. 9 to 5? Yeah. Okay, so 8 hours work. How many hours do you have left? 16. Tony, do you sleep? I go, yeah, sometimes I try to. He goes, how many hours, on the average, how many hours do you sleep? I go, to get a good night's rest, to, be in good health, 8 hours. He goes, okay, write it down, 8 hours sleep. But Tony, how many hours do you have left from work and sleep? 8 hours left. So Tony, after work, what do you do for fun? I mean, you go out, kids, family, what do you do? Yeah, I spend time with the family, maybe 4 hours. Okay, write that down. So how many hours, Tony, do you have of free time for Tony? I go, 4. Okay, that's the reason why I'm in network marketing. That's what he told me. He goes, you only have 4 hours of personal me time. He goes, now, check this out. Put an arrow from your circle that says me, and put another circle and put A, the letter A. I go, okay. So this other circle has 24 hours just like you do, right? I go, yeah. Because, well, Tony, guess what? Your 4 hours has just become 28 hours. See, this is what is exciting about it. I don't care what people are selling. They have to understand what they are getting into. Because your 4 hours in your circle is now expanded to somebody else's life, which is 24 hours that they got. But now you get income from another circle that has 24 hours. And that's just one circle. Can you imagine 6, 7, 8, 10, 15, 20? That's what's exciting about network marketing. You increase your time.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that, Tony. I was thinking here, I've still got a tape that's got to be 50 years old. But Rich DeVos and Jay Van Allen, when they started Amway, they started Amway because they got in a fight with Nutrilite, the owner thereof, and they created that. And when they started, they did something that, in my opinion, no other company has ever done. And that was when you went to a convention for Amway, and I've been to many of them, they would be classes. And one class might be on how to talk to people. Another class might be on how to do your bookwork. Another class might be on how to manage your products and when to order and when not to order. And you'd go to those classes, and each class would be anywhere from an hour to 2 hours long, and you would get all the training that you needed to run your business. And they did that almost at every convention you went to, because most of the conventions were 2 days. And then, of course, one day would be nothing but a big Pippilaw and singing and dancing and girls, and they just went out like you were like going to a Vegas show. I mean, it was just huge, and it was great. And I remember many times there were people that had just started and hadn't made a dime. They just bought their kit and was wondering if they were going to be able to do anything with it. And you'd say to them, "What do you think?" And they said, "If it's anything like today, I'm coming back." Why? Because they were impressed. They knew that the company was 100% behind them. And that's what, initially moved Amway right off the map. And it's still, like you say, it's still here today. And in thinking about that, about my $8 thing, and I think a lot of us may or may not fail to realize that in order to get $8, I have to have 8 customers, because I only make $1 off of each customer. But those 8 customers are on my list. They're potential customers for other things. Now, what I do is I will email them, and for the first 30 days, all I do is send them an email and give them something free. Because there's a lot of stuff on the internet that you can get free, especially with running your business. So I'll send them an email and say, "You got to check this out. It's free. Don't worry about it. You can use it. It'll help you." And what happens, they get on 1 or 2 or 3 of those. Then after a month or so, I'll hit them up with another program, and they're ready. And the reason they're ready is because I have primed them to know that whatever I offer them is a good deal. And since they've got these 3 or 4 things from me for free, now they're ready when I say, "Well, I got something that I took a look at and I think you might be interested in. Do you mind if I show it to you?" "Oh, no, show it to me. I'm ready." The percentage of them signing up with you in another company is much higher. And I learned that years ago, like I said, with Amway, because that was some of our training. You had to work with your people. And get that camaraderie that says, hey, I'm here to help you. I got free things, I got good things, and anything I give you, I know you're going to want because you trust me. See, that's where it's so important for me, is to get that trust. Once somebody trusts you, they'll bend over backwards.
We've got a term for that we use quite frequently nowadays. Of course, back then we just made friends and things like that. But nowadays, what we call that is relationship building. That's what network marketing is all about. It's building relationships. And the people that you build a relationship with, like you said, they'll begin to trust you. And when they trust you and they find that they can trust you and you're not going to let them down, then they'll follow you just about anywhere. And so that's the whole key to building a network marketing business, is building a relationship business, and teaching those people that you build a relationship with, teaching them to do the same thing, helping them do the same thing, to build relationships with other people they know, people they meet, and as those relationships begin to build, so does your business, so does your income, so does your business, and you find that you're building with people that will not just be here today and gone tomorrow, but they'll be here, years down the road. They'll still be with you. Of course.
Absolutely.
Reverend Dave and I sat in a lot of the same Amway conventions and Amway functions and things like that. We can remember the same speeches. We didn't know each other then, but we can remember some of the same speeches that we heard together, even though we didn't know one another. About, I don't know, it's been a while now, about 9 years ago now, I think, close to it, Dave and I come across each other and we built a relationship, and Dave and I have been together ever since. And there's other people that have now come into that relationship, and our little two-man relationship has grown, but we have been together now for 9-10 years. It's been that way. It's a relationship building, and that's exactly what you're discussing. I'll get the right word out in a minute, describing there, and you're absolutely 100% correct. It's building that relationship, and when you build a relationship, you're building a lifetime business.
Absolutely. I kind of think of it myself as more as not only building the relationship, but building the list. Because everybody talks about the list. Then if you build the relationship, you're going to build one fine list.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to build a list that will be responsive. You'll build a list that is, like I said, is a permanent list. It's not, it's not 100 people on that are total strangers that you think you can promote something to, and some of them might go along with it, some of them won't. But if you've built that relationship first, and people have learned that they can trust you and they understand and believe that what you're telling them is right, and that you're not going to let them down, then you'll find that you've built a permanent business, a retirement income.
Yep.
But
I love it.
It's still like the snowball, though. You still got to give it a little helping hand here along the right. When you starting to the top of the hill and then over the hill there, but once it gets running, it's unstoppable.
Yep. And you have to have faith and belief and stick to itness.
Yep.
Because unfortunately, a lot of people